Hey peeps, it has been a hot minute since I have done a video, but do not mistake my silence for absence. I've been very busy running my own businesses and traveling around doing a lot of mountain biking. So yeah, a lot of mountain biking in the downtime that I have, or not the downtime, but the work time that I schedule. Very busy running my own businesses. That has naturally not left much time to record videos, but today I wanted to do one sharing with you guys the two methods that I use to find keyword opportunities. And we're going to start with SEMrush. That is a paid tool that I use. I do recommend it for anybody that's out there building a content-based website. Alternatively, I think you could use Ahrefs and do something similar, or adapt the methodology, or maybe not even adapt it, but do the same methodology, just using the metrics that Ahrefs has. So let's get started. First, we start with an idea. And that is how a lot of people come up with their content that they're going to write about or that they're going to publish on, is they start with an idea. But just starting with an idea often does not set you off on a solid path, because you could just have an idea, but that doesn't mean people are actually searching for it and subsequently going to find it, right? Or that you have the topical authority with your website to actually rank for it. So let's just say that you wanted to write about how to focus better. Okay, maybe you're an expert on how to focus, or yeah, you're an expert on how to focus better. Let's just say you're an expert on how to focus. You've got some experience in that, or maybe it's just an area you've been researching and you want to publish a piece on that. But if you just go and publish on how to focus better, you're not going to really rank for that, most likely, unless you already have a very high value content website out there. So you got to find something more niche. You need to find the keyword opportunity. So let's just start with that idea though, how to focus. Okay. And we'll Google it. That's going to pull up all of the pages that are naturally ranking for this. Okay. And then you can pick one that's the most relevant. I've kind of went through here and done this already. I found this one, to be the most appealing to myself. This one actually looks pretty good too. 13 science-backed tips. You could use both of them. You could do this process for both of them, but let's just take this one here, partially because I can move through it quicker because I know what I'm looking for. But we'll copy the URL, all right? We'll copy the URL, and then we will come back here to SEMrush and paste in that URL. Okay, we want to make sure right here that it's going to the subfolder or exact URL. It should detect either one of those. Sometimes it'll default to the root domain. We don't want to do that. We want to just stick on the exact URL or the subfolder. Is there a difference between them? I guess I've never really thought about that. I just kind of go with whatever it defaults to. So subfolder shows 191 and 76 there and $45. We'll just remember those metrics. Exact URL 191, 76, 45. Okay, so it basically shows the same information whether you're choosing subfolder or exact URL, which ultimately you should. It's just as a subfolder, I don't know how to explain this here. We're going off on a side note, but for exact URL, I would use that, I guess, if there was a little extension that was like .aspx or something at that. But that is not the case here. Big thing, just make sure you're not using root domain for this. We want to find and analyze the keywords that this specific page is ranking for, okay? And here they are down here. Now, we're going to remove this filter that I have. We'll come back to that in a second. That was a keyword difficulty filter. And unless you have it applied, you're not gonna have that filter on there. So here we can see all the keywords that it's ranking for as difficult of a keyword as they might be. And you can see the keyword difficulty score here in this column. Does it expand? No, we can't open it up, but we can see it. Keyword difficulty, an estimate of how difficult it would be to rank well in an organic search results for a particular keyword. And in SEMrush, this is on a scale of 0 to 100. In Ahrefs, I think it's on a scale of 0 to 10, but fundamentally it's indexed to the same thing. And I will say that they are pretty close. Like if it's a 50 here in SEMrush, in Ahrefs, it's usually going to be like a 4, 5, or 6, right? It's going to be in the same broad parameter. So we can see them all here, but how to focus is a 79. How to stay focused is 72. Unless you have a very high value site, you're not going to rank for that. So what I like to do is apply the keyword filter here to 50 to show everything below a keyword difficulty score of 50. And I found that even new sites can usually rank for something if they put out a good piece of content, provided it's up to a keyword difficulty score of 50. 40s are usually pretty easy. So if you're brand new, maybe you want to start out with 40. We're going to start out with 50. Okay, and now here we can see all of the keywords that this page is ranking for that have up to a keyword difficulty score of 50. And right now they're sorted by the amount of traffic that they generate to this specific page. You could also do it by volume. We'll take a look at this. But now we can go through here and see what we want to publish on. Right? So focus, get fit. I'm not really seeing it. How to get your focus back. Now the volume on that notice is low. It's only 30 a month, but the difficulty score is only 45. And let's just go back and let's take a look at more. We'll talk more about this low volume principle in a second here. What to do when you can't focus on your work. 50, score is 49, right? So it gets a little bit more volume, a little bit more difficulty. Staying on task. That's an interesting one at 210 and 28. How to be more attentive. Actually, I like that one. That was something that, if you have this topical expertise, you could probably cover this as well. And it's getting more search volume at a lower difficulty score. So how to be more attentive. And I'm just going to check these. How to regain your focus. Maximum focus time. Maybe you could write, how to discover what your maximum focus time is before you need a break. That might be a topical piece you could write on this. Stay focused on your goals. How to stay focused on your goals, maybe. How to stay focused and productive at work, right? So here we've got a bunch of low competition, low difficulty keywords. Now, naturally, the search volume is low. Okay, so this is something that comes up. People are like, well, I don't want to write on a low search volume keyword. Well, two things. Number one, you're realistically not going to be able to rank for a high volume keyword unless you have a very high authoritative website, a site that's been online for a couple of years. It's got a lot of backlinks. It's already getting traffic. You've got a lot of content published on this niche. All right, so that's number one. So you have to publish on the low volume keywords and the low hanging fruit. Those are going to be your opportunities. Number two, generally, you'll run into some big wins when you're doing this, right? Like you might publish something on how to regain your focus here, with only 30 monthly searches, and this ends up ranking for something like what to do if you lose focus as well, right? So you're covering this topic and ends up ranking for something totally different and gets a ton more traffic. There's generally a lot of opportunities in these low volume keywords here, and right, maybe you publish this how to regain your focus. It goes right up to the top. It's on page 1. Then it picks up a couple links because the pages that are at the top get more links because that's what people find when they're looking for a source to link out to or researching the topic. And then it ends up ranking for something different. So don't be afraid of the low volume keywords. Don't look at them and discredit them. Be like, oh, that's, too low volume. Why would I want to cover a 30 when I can write on 110 or a 210? Okay. And that is just something you need to be conscious of, and a lot of people overlook that, right? Or if you're doing a topical website on, how to improve your focus, you might want to cover all of these topics here. Cover 10, 20, 30, maybe more, and then you can kind of go back, reassess all of your content, and start, going after the big keywords, the ones that have high search volume and high difficulty scores because you have so much content published on it, right? Maybe then you might write the comprehensive guide on how to stay focused after you've published all those, okay? Now, the other thing we can do here, let's just go back to our 50. So that's the first method. That's starting out when you have that idea. But then once you find it, right? Like let's just say this is a good topic for you. Let's just pop this topic into Google. And now what we're going to want to do is look for sites that are on this same topic of focus here. Right, so we want to try and find like a niche website that's on it. And this is one I clicked on earlier, Dan Sylvester, right? So we're going to want to look for niche sites that are entirely focused on the topic, whereas We know Lifehack is not going to be focused on the topic of focus. It's not going to be focused on the topic of focus. That's kind of funny. Healthline is going to have all kinds of health-related topics on it. HBR has all kinds of business stuff. Dan Sylvester, okay, maybe this is some kind of expert on focus. That's what I'm thinking about when I click on it. And indeed he is. If we were to search around this website, we would see that. Then we can, again, copy this URL right here. We can paste it in. And boom, here we go. Now this is showing all the traffic to that page. But let's just go to root domain. And what we want to look for is all of the keywords that are on this website that we might be able to cover. And I'll also call this like keyword hacking. Another website, you might hear it expressed as that. I would call it that. Some other people probably would. I don't know what the technical term would be, but basically we want to look at these sites and see, hey, what are they ranking for as well that's low-hanging fruit here. We'll do the 50. Now we're sorting this again by the amount of traffic that is contributed to that website. You can also do volume. I typically find you'll find more relevant and applicable keywords doing the volume or the traffic percentage, but we can look at it by volume as well. Sometimes I'll do that. So how to win friends and influence people summary, how to stop worrying and start living summary. So he's doing a lot of book summaries here. 10x rule summary, how to focus on reading, ding, 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 ding. That seems like it's right up the alley. He's got a bunch of summaries in here, so let's just do an exclusion on that word. Pretty sure we can do it. We go advanced filters, exclude, keyword containing, summary. Like I just don't feel like writing book summaries, right? Okay, so how to focus on reading, how to concentrate on reading, that's kind of the same thing. How to prioritize your life. Everything is fucked. See if we can find another one. What's the fastest way to work? That would be an interesting one. You'd want to kind of Google that and see what's coming up. Like, are people, let's just Google it. Are people searching this because they're trying to find directions? Or are people searching this because they want to work faster? What's the fastest way? Yeah, it seems like the results are, geared towards, satisfying a time crunch. So yeah, so that can give us a bunch of keyword opportunities here just by simply hacking other websites. Again, we can go by volume and see this, but now there's going to be stuff in here that's going to be kind of like high volume and weird, like not too niche, and it's just kind of like doesn't work. Like steal like an artist. I don't know what that is. Minimalist clothing. That's a pretty interesting keyword, I think. How to not give a fuck. That might apply if you're a topical expert on focus. What is vagabonding? There's all kinds of interesting stuff in here. But again, I find more relevance when we are doing traffic. So guys, that's a wrap on this one. My 2 methods for finding keyword opportunities. What do you think about it? Do you have any questions? Let me know in the comments below.